The debate over whether countries should have open borders is a complex and multifaceted issue, encompassing arguments related to economics, human rights, security, and cultural identity. As globalization continues to blur geographical boundaries, the idea of open borders has gained traction among certain political and social groups, while facing staunch opposition from others. In this video, we will delve into the various arguments for and against open borders, examining the potential benefits and drawbacks of such a policy. The economic implications of open borders. Potential economic growth. One of the most compelling arguments in favor of open borders is the potential for significant economic growth. Labour mobility is a key factor in economic efficiency, and open borders would allow workers to move freely across countries, seeking out the best opportunities for employment. This could lead to a more efficient allocation of resources, as workers would be able to fill labour shortages in industries and regions where they are most needed. Moreover, open borders could lead to an increase in innovation and entrepreneurship. The free movement of people would likely result in a greater exchange of ideas, as individuals from different cultural and educational backgrounds collaborate and share knowledge. This diversity of thought could drive technological advancements and boost productivity, ultimately leading to higher economic growth. Challenges to economic stability. However, there are also significant concerns regarding the potential economic challenges posed by open borders. Critics argue that an influx of migrants could place a strain on public services, such as healthcare, education, and social welfare systems. These systems may not be equipped to handle a sudden increase in demand, leading to reduced quality of service and increased costs for the host country. Additionally, there is the issue of wage suppression. The influx of a large number of low-skilled workers could drive down wages in certain industries, particularly those that rely on manual labour. This could lead to increased income inequality and social unrest, particularly among native workers who may feel that their jobs and livelihoods are being threatened by the arrival of foreign labour. Human rights and ethical considerations. The right to freedom of movement. From a human rights perspective, open borders are often seen as a moral imperative. The right to freedom of movement is enshrined in various international human rights treaties, and proponents of open borders argue that this right should not be limited by national borders. Allowing individuals to move freely across countries would enable them to escape poverty, persecution, and violence, and to seek out better opportunities for themselves and their families. Social integration and cultural identity. On the other hand, critics of open borders often raise concerns about the impact of mass migration on social integration and cultural identity. The sudden arrival of large numbers of migrants from different cultural backgrounds could lead to social fragmentation and tensions between native and migrant communities. There is a fear that open borders could erode the cultural identity of the host country, as traditional values and customs are diluted by the influx of foreign influences. Furthermore, there is the concern that migrants may struggle to integrate into their new communities, particularly if they face language barriers or discrimination. This could lead to the creation of parallel societies, where migrants are isolated from the rest of the population, exacerbating social tensions and potentially leading to conflict. Security concerns. National security risks. One of the most frequently cited arguments against open borders is the potential threat to national security. Critics argue that open borders could make it easier for criminals, terrorists, and other undesirable individuals to enter the country, posing a risk to public safety. The lack of border controls could also make it more difficult to track and monitor individuals who may pose a threat, leading to an increase in crime and other security-related issues. The impact on border countries. Another security concern relates to the impact of open borders on border countries. These countries may bear the brunt of mass migration, as they are the first point of entry for many migrants. This could lead to increased pressure on their resources and infrastructure, as well as potential conflicts with neighbouring countries over the management of migration flows. Globalization and the future of borders. The role of technology. As the world becomes increasingly interconnected through technology and globalization, the traditional concept of borders is being challenged. The rise of digital nomads and remote work has made it possible for individuals to live and work in different countries without physically crossing borders. This has led to calls for more flexible and open immigration policies that reflect the realities of the modern world. The ethical dilemma of closed borders. In a globalized world, the idea of closed borders raises ethical questions about the responsibilities of wealthier nations to those in poorer or conflict-ridden regions. Should countries be allowed to close their borders to individuals seeking refuge from war, persecution, or extreme poverty? The answer to this question is far from straightforward, and it highlights the inherent tensions between national sovereignty and global responsibility. Conclusion. The question of whether countries should have open borders is a deeply complex and contentious issue with valid arguments on both sides. While open borders have the potential to drive economic growth, promote human rights, and facilitate cultural exchange, they also pose significant challenges in terms of economic stability, social integration, and national security. As the world continues to evolve, it is essential for policymakers to carefully consider the potential benefits and drawbacks of open borders and to strike a balance between the competing interests at play.